All right, Bryn, this is it. $9 trillion worth of earnings reports coming this week from tech, from big tech, Facebook, Microsoft, Alphabet, Apple, Amazon. You're right in the thick of it. You got a big position in the queues. Are you nervous?
Nah, no, not at all. I think that, Microsoft, especially Microsoft, is going to deliver really strong numbers. I think Satya Nadella has such a positive halo effect. And I think that, like with a Microsoft, you have LinkedIn, you have gaming, you have the cloud, you have Outlook. You have so many different individual verticals. I think they're going to do really well. I think as it relates to Facebook, we know they're going to have great earnings, but I don't think it has anything to do with earnings this quarter. Whereas Microsoft has this halo effect over it, Facebook has a really big rain cloud over it. And so I'm not sure if the market will look through the current negativity on Facebook, because I do think their earnings from advertising are still going to be so dominant. So I would just sit still, watch these earnings, and not make any moves, off the earnings that are coming out this week.
All right, Farmer Jim, you got Apple, you got Alphabet, you got Microsoft. What do you think going into this big week? How critical is it?
Oh, I think it's very critical, and it's not just tech. You've got 1/3 of S&P 500 companies in total reporting this week, and more industries than tech. I'll get to that in a second. But within tech, I think Google and Microsoft are going to be just fine. I really don't see the threats to their business models. Apple, Apple could go either way because of supply chain shortages that are clearly pushing out lead times for the iPhone. But, as Bryn alluded to, the one stock, and I don't own it, that has a rain cloud over it is Facebook. We saw what happened with Snap last week with the iOS update and how that's affected their ad revenue. I think that's got to affect Facebook as well. And then, you just have this drumbeat which keeps picking up of negative news flow around the stock, whether it's the Facebook papers, the congressional hearings, the fake news, the influencing of elections. There is a pretty big cloud around Facebook, and I'm going to stay away from that for now. When we get to it, I'd love to talk. I'll tell you, Scott, more important to me are the industrials than the technology stocks, but you tell me where you want to go.
Well, since we're talking about mega cap tech, Jim, I think we're going to stay right in mega cap tech, but I appreciate the suggestion, okay? You just hold your horses on the industrials, because we'll get there at some point. Maybe not today, but we will. All right. Amy Raskin, you're moderately underweight tech. Does that mean you're expecting some disappointments this week?
We don't call individual quarters, but just generally speaking, I think tech has had its run. For the most part, I think FANG has had its run. The setup for the last decade was diametrically opposite than we have going into the next decade. I don't think this is where you're going to get your long-term alpha. The only one of the stocks that we're overweight is Google, and it's been a big win for us this year. I think we'll probably start paring that back at some point as well. They were the big winners. We still own a lot of them. We have a lot of gains in them. We manage mostly taxable money. It's a good problem to have, but again, we're looking elsewhere for alpha.
Wow. Joe, you hear what Amy just said?
Scott, I did.
You hear what Amy just said?
I did,
We don't think this is where you're going to get your alpha. Talking about big tech.
Okay.
I mean, she may be on an island because I don't know a lot of people who think that, yourself included, Joe.
No. I'm staying with technology, and I think what we've been able to do here in the month of October is really remove this claim that people have made where long-duration assets, yields moving higher, that's negative for technology. You know what, Scott? Technology isn't as much of long-duration asset as we previously thought. These are asset-light businesses. A 10-year Treasury has gone from 140 to 165. Guess what? Technology this month is up 6%. So I think the big five really did their job when markets were in that tenuous position and the S&P was challenging some of the moving averages and down 5%. They acted in a very resilient capacity, except for Microsoft. That's really the only one that has established a new 52-week high.
That's right.
As the S&P moved higher here. But overall, I think large cap technology is exactly where you want to be, and I think it goes beyond the big five. Look today, you've got Oracle, NVIDIA, Intuit, all making 52-week highs. So I think that's the right place to be. I think Broadcom is also making that 52-week high. and I'm going to stay overweight the technology space, but I'm going to do it with large cap.
All right.